Welcome, this is Pineleaf News, Skirmisher Middle-earth, and today we are going to have a quick little preview of the Dead Marshes. And well, they're very definitely marshes, that's for sure. But with these orcs here, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be swimming in these marshes. Apparently it is populated by some orcs here. Orcs in the mire. Defeat orcs in the Dead Marshes. So I'm now on 2 quests to kill orcs in the Dead Marshes. How about that? These are the Dead Marshes where Frodo and Sam were led by Gollum in order to avoid things like these wispy things, I presume, are the candles that are spoken of in the book. I'm not going to show you too much what's going on here. This is just to show you that the Dead Marshes are currently on Bull Roar, and we will take a better look at them when they are finally released in update 15.2. So yes, this is a little bit of new land that's being added for a point update instead of a standard update. And what are we doing? Boy, there are a lot of orcs around here. So those must be, or if those are the Mountains of Shadow. It's rather thick with enemies around here. Actually, it's a marsh, so it's thick with everything. And we'll be running into plenty of these orcs, I am sure. I just want to see if I can get a nice look of the Mountains of Shadow. So I'll return in a moment, and if we get to see the Mountains of Shadow, then I will show you the shot. And if not, well, it looks like we are at the end of the line there. And if not, we will go to another area of this update and maybe have a look at that. I haven't seen any sign of the Mountain of Shadow. Well, that's probably a mule up there, or whatever they call those hills that Frodo came from. Mountains of Shadow, well, I see the shadow bit, but not much on the way of anything that looks like mountains. Most likely all that mist is covering up the mountains and stuff like that. Maybe fires from Mount Doom or whatever. But what I want to show you are these really nasty corpses you see here. These are the things that they were talking about in the books about all the corpses coming out through. Say, this is not really a hospitable place to swim, I have to tell you that. So I don't know why I'm doing it, because it's something that no sane hobbit would do. So I guess I've long ago demonstrated my lack of sanity on such things. Very well. If I see any sign of the real Mountains of Shadow, I will return to you. Otherwise, you will probably see me back at a skirmish camp. Not exactly sure what this is. I have a feeling that this is the great cloud that causes the eternal darkness. Or, the dawnless day, that's right. This is what causes, I have a feeling that this is this junk that's billowing out of Mount Doom, and probably it's coming up into the Dead Marshes, and also probably spreading west into the area of Minas Tirith. So I see that, so of course the Mountain of Shadow would be in shadow as a result of that, so that's probably why I can't really get a good view of it. I'm looking due south, and it's hard for me to tell the darkness from the mist, from the clouds of eternal darkness there. But yes, it looks like that the Dark Lord is quite powerful in this region, which we expect so close to Mordor. I am now here in the armory of Dol Amroth, right next to the skirmish trainer.
These are troublesome times indeed.
And we want to have a little look at how they may have changed some of the traits. Now the first thing to note is that there is now a rank 46 that can be purchased once you own the trait that allows you to have the max above 45, because the current cap is 45, but in 14.2 they're adding a cap increase that you can get in the store. Note this isn't too different from when we did it before. In the past, if you wanted your trait increase, you either had to go to the store or buy whatever expansion was tied with it. Since there was no expansion, therefore that option is out there, and the only choice is to get it through the store. Now the price that they quote in the store right now is 195 turbine points, and that applies to the entire account. Of course, things can change between now and the release of the update. Now that we have that done, obviously what I'm looking at now is the comparison between these two. I could see that they add about 56 critical rating, a little bit extra morale, and power. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the 45 value, which is the one on the right, with what we have in the current version that's live, and see what are these increases they were talking about, since they said they also increased the potency of each of the values. So let's go on to the skirmish panel here. So right there's the roll, which is the same thing we looked at before, and there's my deadly shot ability. There's my pinpoint shot ability, distracting shot, and my wound seeker. Now my training is medium armor, practice critical, and resurgent power, and then armor penetration. So we'll just see whether or not these are the same, different, or whatever compared to what's currently on live. So therefore, let us head over to live onto Windfall, which is the server that I copied this character from, and have a look at what we have over there. Here we are back on live, and let's have a look at what we have here. On the roll, we're seeing here that the critical rating really changed significantly. On Bulber it's 2800, and here it's only 1600. So that's a 75% increase. That's quite a jump there. And the morale also went up by 20%, which is a significant jump. Now remember, the most significant adjustments are being made on the high end, probably because they made monsters a little bit tougher and the soldiers weren't being scaled appropriate, most likely, is the reason why they're making this adjustment. So don't expect the same large jumps when you're at the lower levels. As for the skills, for example, our deadly shot here, this went up by 77%, where it's 642 damage now, where it here, well, on the bull roar it's 1141, so it's a significant jump there. The biggest jump though are in the defenses. Medium armor training, here is plus 1000. On bull roar it's plus 4000. So that is a major change. So obviously they thought the soldiers' defenses were too poor, since there are no changes anywhere near on that level in any of the others. Now I should note that the personal ones, the ones that affect you instead of your soldiers, those are not being changed at all. They figure the players have enough already. They don't need the same boost. It's just that the soldiers, they felt, were being left out when it came to enhancements over the recent updates. So those are the updates that we have related to skirmishes. The addition of 5 new ranks that you can purchase in the store. That the abilities, especially at the high end, that are associated with each of the traits have been increased. And those are the two biggest changes. The making sure that there are no other, and it looks like that's the only one. They may be making some adjustments to the interaction with the skirmish trait panel. We'll have to see on that matter. But overall, this looks like a positive step in there, and perhaps in the near future they will be ready to release this update. Now, they have not yet set a date for 14.2. This does include some landscape in it, but of course it's a very small piece of landscape and it's intended to be a small update since it is a point update and not a major one. But we'll see. They'll probably spend a couple of weeks in the testing and then release it sometime in the middle of September. So we're not too sure on that matter yet, but I'm sure we'll know soon. And until then, this is Pineleaf Needles, and remember to skirmish responsibly.